Mr. Fletcher, I have that charge for you to sign.
You're going to make yourself very unpopular.
I am already.
Look, what's the matter with you?
That page woman struck me. I want it charged.
You've never gone this far before.
It's written out, Mr. Fletcher. All you have to do is sign it.
Look, for heaven's sake, all I'm saying is give yourself a chance to change your mind.
You said you'd sign it. Thank you. I'm going ahead with the charge against Page, Mrs. Davidson.
I see. You're going over my head, is that it?
I have no other choice.
Of course you do. You could drop the matter.
I believe a prisoner should be charged for striking an officer, no matter what.
It wasn't you who was hurt, was it, Mrs. Powell? It was your pride. Crucifying this woman is not going to achieve anything. I suggest you reconsider the matter and we'll discuss it again in the morning.
I'm charging her, Mrs. Davidson, and that's it.
Oh, I've been trying to call you. I'd like your opinion on this. Despite my request, Mrs. Powell insists on charging Page with striking an officer.
Yes, I know. I countersigned it.
You did? Does that mean you agree with her?
Doesn't seem to matter these days whether I agree or not. I'm fed up with this whole place, Mrs. Davidson. The people, the way the whole system works, everything. In fact, that's why I'm here now. I'm quitting.
Alison, are you all right?
Haven't you heard?
Heard what?
Mrs. Powell has refused to drop the charge against me. Looks as though I might be in here for some time to come. I don't know how I'm going to tell Don or what I'm going to do with the children.
Well, you needn't worry about that just now. They're going to come and stay with me for a couple of days. Just until Don can manage a bit better.
You've done that for us?
It's no trouble. It's my job.
But they can't stay with you forever. It might be months before I get out of here now.
We'll think of a solution.
What?
I'll think of something. I know it's cold comfort, but they are well and they do understand.
I'm sure you have other cases to worry about.
Ah, Meg.
What? Oh, I didn't hear you.
Problems?
Oh, no, just the usual. How about you? Feeling any better?
Yeah, I took your advice.
And?
I've resigned.
What? I told you to face up to your problems, not run away from them.
I am facing up to them.
Not in my opinion.
Well, if I want your opinion, I'll ask for it.
Yes, Jim Fletcher. We haven't decided on a date yet. As soon as possible. And now that Miss Bennet has left, it's a matter of extreme urgency. Surely you could provide a temporary replacement at least. Come in. As I said, it's a matter of extreme urgency. Yes, I do appreciate your difficulty, but... Yes, very well. I shall look forward to hearing from you.
You wanted to see me, Mrs. Davidson?
Oh, yes, it concerns your charge against Page.
Yes.
Well, I did ask you to consider it.
Striking an officer is a serious offence.
Quite. But we both know that Page acted on the spur of the moment.
She struck me.
Then you refuse to withdraw the charge? Going over my head doesn't improve your position.
What do you mean?
I mean that you are in line for promotion, and you have already received a temporary one.
And you're saying it won't be permanent if I continue with the charge?
I'm saying you're making your position unnecessarily difficult.
That's blackmail.
That's rather an overstatement. Are you aware that Jim Fletcher has resigned?
No. When did he do that?
Today.
The deputy governorship is vacant.
Correct.
And that's bribery.
I'm making a statement, and I shall make another one. I do not approve of your action in charging Page, nor do I approve of your going over my head. I will not be dictated to by one of my officers.
Striking an officer is a serious offence, according to the regulations.
That is your last word on the subject, is it?
I will not withdraw the charge.
All right. But I want you to know I take a very dim view of your attitude.
And I take an extremely dim view of blackmail.
Yeah, well, I reckon you ought to join one of them ladies' clubs or something, you know?
Oh, the Elderly Citizens Club. That'd be a whole heap of giggles.
Oh, cut it out. Just because I got one foot in the bloody grave.
And the other on a bloody banana skin.
It doesn't mean that I haven't got a few good years left in me yet.
Well, I reckon it'll be the bowling club myself.
Oh, be sensible.
Be sensible with you carrying on like a two-bob watch.
Oh, well, you would be too if you was getting out.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
tomorrow's attendance centre list?
You can read, can't you?
Smith, Burns, Birdsworth, Trapp, Cavelli and Stokes. Oh, they're setting a bit of store on this new attendance centre, aren't they?
Yeah, I reckon Alison was setting a bit of store by getting out, too.
That's enough, Smith.
Not that it's any of my business, but her old man is in a pretty bad way.
That's got nothing to do with me.
Keeping her in here an extra couple of months has.
The subject is closed.
Not for us, it isn't.
Look! Anything more out of you lot and there'll be trouble. That's a privilege. It can be taken away.
You reckon we ought to cool it, Pete?
Well, hasn't done us much good, has it?
Didn't quite expect power to come on so strong.
So we're just going to lie down and take it, are we?
No, we're not. Because I have just about had a gutful.
Only a few more days to go.
Oh, it's all right for you.
Come on, love, you've got to get up and go to the showers.
Oh, it'll only make it bad for you.
I don't think it's possible that it could get any worse. They'll just keep on finding reasons to keep me here.
Oh, you'll get out. I'm sure you will.
Lizzie, when you escaped, how did you do it?
Oh, it's dead easy. How many times door? 2, 3, 4. Oh, this place is like a kindergarten. You can get out of here any time you like. I once got a visitor's pass, put on me old clobber and walked out free as a bird.
I gave it a go once. Not worth it.
2 months sounds a long time, love. But once you go over that wall, it'll seem a long time more.
I just don't know how much longer I can keep going.
Yeah, well, I suppose it doesn't mean much coming from us. Or from me, anyway. But you have got some real friends in here.
Morning.
Morning.
Here you're leaving us.
That's right.
Copping out, huh?
I don't think so.
Well, I do.
Well, I don't give a damn how anyone sees it. My career at Wentworth is over. Yours, on the other hand, is just beginning, isn't it?
What does that mean?
Well, with me and Vera out of the way, your future's looking decidedly rosier, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, of course, although you'll have to tread carefully. That business with Page won't exactly help matters.
Mrs. Davidson's already issued the ultimatum, if that's the word.
And what word would you use?
Blackmail.
Oh, suit yourself. But you could be sitting pretty if only you realised it, Colleen. Think about it. It's a bit early yet to start flexing your muscles.
Anybody'd think you were going to the gallows, Mouse.
Oh, I don't want to go, Doreen.
Oh, where are your mates, love? We'll look after you.
Yeah, and even if we did want to shoot through on you, well, we couldn't, could we?
Yeah, you should be thanking your lucky stars, not getting the heebie-jeebies.
What about the old bag next door?
Well, don't let her spoil your day.
All right, is everybody signed out?
Yes,
I don't like her. She gives me the creeps.
Oh, give it a rest.
Yeah, if she starts anything today, well,
Well, what'll you do?
I'll give her something to really perv at.
Whoa, they might all get excited about that.
Well, I was hoping you'd be able to tell me something about the reason for Jim's resignation.
Well, I can a little. He was moping around the place and saying he was feeling directionless. So I gave him a bit of a pep talk, told him to stop whinging and do something constructive about his problems. Not that I think that resigning is constructive.
Well, not for Wentworth, at least. Do you know what his plans are?
Oh, I don't think he's got any at the moment. Perhaps if you gave him time to cool down, he might reconsider.
Well, I had to report his resignation to the department, but I'll leave the paperwork until the last minute. That way, it will give him some leeway if he changes his mind. If only I could persuade him.
Well, I think you can, if you were patient. I think Vera's promotion really threw him. I mean, it must have stung him, particularly when he'd applied for the same job himself a couple of months earlier.
Yes, I'm probably being selfish about the matter, but with Vera gone and your job as a parole officer, I just can't afford to lose another senior staff member.
How's Colleen Powell managing?
Not very well. Authority seems to have gone to her head, but maybe she'll settle down.
Perhaps she won't.
Well, that's what makes Jim's resignation all the more alarming. If only I could convince him just how much Wentworth needs him.
Okay, come on. Look at it. Can't carry it all. Go on with it.
Hey, B, she's there again.
Yeah, let's ignore her, love. Come on, you heard me.
Cut it out.
Now, what do you want to go and do that for? Why shouldn't I? She's an old perv.
Who the hell does she think she is?
I don't care who she is. She could be God for all I know. But if we're going to go stirring her up, she'll only take more interest in us, won't she, Mr. Fletcher?
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
Well, maybe we are crims, but I mean, that doesn't...
Listen, would you get through your head once and for all? She doesn't know where you're from, so don't talk to her and don't provoke her.
Well, that's easy enough for you to say, Mr. Fletcher, but we do have feelings just like other people.
All right, Smith, Stokes, Cavelli, Trapp, you'll all be working outside.
Oh, can't I work inside, Mr. Fletcher?
Oh, come on, you might get a suntan.
Look, for once and for all, Trapp, it's about time you learned to take orders.
Yeah, come on, girls.
Oh, well, what about us?
Well, you can get the kettle on and you can make some sandwiches.
Well, that suits me.
Dry rot. Dry rot. Your place is riddled with it. What's your name, dear?
Heather.
Oh, and what brings you and your friends to this neck of the woods?
Well, what's it got to do with you?
Well, I was only asking, dear.
Well, shove it, lady.
I beg your pardon?
I said we've got as much right to our privacy as you have to yours. So why don't you pull your head in?
I was only trying to be friendly.
Must be like a day at the trots for you, is it? With a bunch of criminals.
Oh, what's going on out here?
Well, I was just commenting on the fact that you and your friends have got a lot of hard work in front of you.
Yes, there is rather a lot. Nice day for it.
What's that?
Gardening.
Oh yes, I quite forgot. My curiosity got the better of me.
Oh, is that a fact?
Yes, yes. I saw you here yesterday. The house has been empty for so long, and I was just wondering...
We're voluntary workers.
Oh, how commendable.
Yes, it is, isn't it? We do a lot for the local kiddies.
The local kiddies.
The Housing Commission kiddies. They've got nowhere to muck about, so we're doing this place up as a play centre.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, well, if you'll excuse us, we'll get on with the good work. For God's
sake, just keep out of her way.
Well, she's the one causing the trouble, not us.
What have you got rattling around inside that head? Peas instead of brains. Don't you think the locals are going to make a fuss if they find out that we're crims?
Well, Bee's right. We mightn't be able to come up here anymore.
Suits me.
Well, it doesn't suit me. A day outside is a day outside, especially for someone who is not going to see the real outside for quite some
All
time.
right, what's going on?
Oh, they've just come in time for a smoko, Mr. Fletcher.
I'll say when it's time for a smoko.
Yeah, well, I don't think we'll be having one at this rate.
What are you talking about?
There isn't any milk.
What do you just have to do without?
I wouldn't take a minute to nip down to the milk bar and get some.
No, it wouldn't, but in case you've forgotten, I'm here to keep an eye on you lot, not to go running around the neighbourhood looking for milk.
Well, I reckon there must be something in those regulations that says that we can have a proper smoko. Milk, tea,
Yeah, all right,
sugar.
all right. Here you go. And make it snappy.
By myself? Oh, you mean that you can trust me not to...
Yeah, well, listen, Lizzie, with a little bit of time you've got left to serve, you're not likely to do anything stupid, now are you?
No, sir. Oh, excuse me, everybody. I'm just stepping out for a minute. I won't be long.
Well, wonders will never cease.
Are you deaf?
No. Mrs. Powell, may I speak to you?
What about?
Please. Could you drop the charge? I didn't mean to hit you, honestly. I didn't think that...
Beauty.
Won't you reconsider? I'll do anything to make it up.
You can tell your story to the visiting justice.
But what if he doesn't believe me?
He probably won't.
Mrs. Powell, do you know about my husband? What's happened to him?
Your family problems are no concern of mine.
But he needs me. And the children, what's going to happen to them?
You should have thought of that before.
If I get an extra 2 months on my sentence... Haven't you got a family? Don't you realize?
All I realize is that you struck an officer. Now you'll get what you deserve. No more and no less. Get back to work.
$1.60, right? $2, thanks.
Lovely day? I said it's a lovely day.
What do you want?
I'll have a bottle of milk if it's not too much trouble.
No bottles.
What?
No bottles, only cartons.
Oh, I don't like carton milk. It tastes funny.
Look, do you want milk or don't you?
I'll have a carton of milk, please.
Help yourself.
God, I don't know what this world's coming to.
Hey, you, beat it.
Why?
You know very well, Sonny Jim. Now beat it before I call the police.
Never touched nothing.
Not for the want of trying.
Leave him alone, why don't you?
You keep out of this. This boy's got the lightest fingers in the neighborhood. So, out. 53 cents.
Daylight robbery. No bottles, no service. Don't know what the world's coming to.
$1, 2.
And I won't be dealing in this shop again. G'day.
G'day.
That old bloke seems to have it in for you.
I never took nothing. Not just this time, ever.
Course you didn't.
He reckons I'm a thief.
Oh, come on. Don't look so down, love. Hey, here.
Where'd you get them?
5-finger discount.
You nicked them.
Yeah.
Serves him right. Thanks a lot.
Lizzie,
Martin.
put it here.
Hello, Alison.
Mrs. Morris.
Hey, Alison. You're not the only one with problems, you know.
I know.
All right. What's happened?
Don rang me. He's been trying to arrange a mortgage on the house with my legal expenses and now his medical expenses. We're desperately short of money. And the bank manager told him he can't have the mortgage.
Why not?
He told Don that he couldn't support it. Now, with his bag, and we're going to have to sell the house and rent a place. It's been our home for 15 years, and now we're going to lose it.
Come on, no. Wake up.
I talked to Mrs. Powell today.
And?
I practically got down on my hands and knees and begged.
I wish there was something I could do. But really, I think you're just going to have to face
I
the
know.
facts.
I'm going to be in here for another 2 months. Chris and Susan, oh, what are worrying me.
Well, I've got something to tell you that'll set your mind at rest. I've been able to place them.
What do you mean?
In a welfare home. So that's one thing you won't have to worry about. They'll be well looked after.
A home? An orphanage?
Well, it's not really.
I know what those places are like. Chris and Susan are going to end up in a home.
Well, I think it's the best thing under the circumstances. When you get out of here, they'll be able to go back home to you.
An institution. The other children there will be delinquents.
You don't even know what the place is like, and you're already judging it.
Yes. I don't know what it's like. And I don't want to know. There's got to be a limit.
Look, I think you've got it all twisted in your mind.
Maybe I have. But I can't take much more.
Here I am.
Well, so you're back. We were beginning to think you'd scarpen.
I just passing the time of day.
Kettle's boiled.
Beaut little kid named Martin.
How old?
Oh, about 9 or 10.
Too young even for Doreen.
Tea made yet?
Oh, yeah, just about. Will I call the others?
No. You take it out to them after you finish yours.
Milk, Mr. Fletcher?
Yeah, thanks, Lizzie. And my change, please.
Oh, yeah. And you wouldn't credit it. Milk, 53 cents.
Yeah?
Oh, God, gone up 5 cents since the last time I was out. Makes me feel as though I'd like to stay in.
Oh, don't be silly, Lizzie.
Well, it's all right for you with that huge pay packet you've got every week. What about me? I'll be on the pension and milk costing that much.
And gin, $10 a bottle.
Oh, don't you listen to him, Lizzie. Listen, you'll manage okay. At least you don't have to pay rent, not like some people.
Yeah. I'm lucky to have Sid's house.
Yeah, not like the poor old Darrow that crashed here.
What?
Well, I found this fish and chip packet, you know, and it wasn't that old either.
Yeah, it's the ghost. I can feel it in my bones. And that's why Mouse has got the window.
Come on, don't talk nonsense.
They were talkable.
Well, back to the salt mines.
Yeah, it's all right for you guys. At least you can get out of here for a while.
Well, why don't you put your name down for the attendance centre roster?
Yeah, maybe.
Mrs. Powell giving you a bad time, love?
It's Chris and Susan. Mrs. Morris is putting them in a home.
What? Well, why's that?
Well, she's been looking after them temporarily, but she can't keep them forever. Don can't look after them, and I can't. But I've heard about those places.
Yeah, they're just like Oliver Twist.
Yeah, well, if you'd got out of here when you should have, none of this would have happened, huh?
That rotten bitch Powell.
Well, I did hit her. Maybe Mrs. Morris is right. That home might be the right place.
It's a training ground, that's what that is.
What do you mean?
Oh, you know what I mean, Lizzie. The next step's a remand home and then Wentworth or Pentridge.
Bea.
Oh, I've just about had Pal.
Oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it. She has to stay.
Not if I've got anything to do with it.
Well, where are you going?
I'm going to see Mrs. Davidson. We'll sort this out one way or another.
Oh, please, it'll only make things worse.
Oh, I don't know about that, love. Bea and Davo have been very close lately. Your wish is my command, Mrs. Smith.
I wouldn't have put it quite like that.
Uh-huh. Well, come on, let's get out of here before we're all on report.
How's yesterday? At the attendance centre. How'd it go?
Much the same as usual.
You don't sound particularly enthusiastic.
Why should I be?
No. I suppose now you're leaving, it doesn't matter much one way or the other. Oh, come on, Jim. You're still an officer.
Look, if I
here,
want to
aren't you?
lecture, I'll ask for it.
I wasn't lecturing. It's just that Wentworth doesn't seem to matter much to you anymore.
Well, that shouldn't worry you.
What's that mean?
Well, the more apathetic I am, the better you look.
You've been dropping enough hints lately. Exactly what are you trying to say?
Come on, Colleen. The position of Deputy Governor is up for grabs. Don't kid me that you don't want it.
No, I haven't actually thought about it.
Well, it's time you did think about it. You're in line for a top position. Don't miss your chance.
Jim, really,
I'm sure you won't.
Yes, Smith, what is it?
It's about Alison Page.
I don't think that's any of your business.
Oh, Mrs. Powell's queered her pitch good and proper.
Page struck an officer.
And everyone knows it wasn't her fault. Why can't you see both sides of an argument for a change? If Alison's charged, she's going to have twice her original sentence. Now, do you think that's fair? Just because she was pushed over the edge by a promotion
That is enough, Smith. I said that is enough. Have you forgotten to whom you're speaking?
No, I haven't.
I will not have one of my officers criticised by a prisoner.
Well, I'm sorry about that, Mrs. Davidson, but can't you
Nor will I be dictated to by an inmate.
Okay.
Whilst you're here, you may be interested to know that the braille machine will be arriving next week. And an instructor is being arranged.
Well, that's a ray of sunshine.
Well, if you're not interested.
No, I'm still keen, honestly. After all the work we've been to, I'm not going to pull out now.
You will be notified when the classes are to begin.
Well, thanks. Oh, there's one other thing, Mrs. Davidson.
Yes?
I know it's still a bit up in the air, but Alison's job in reception.
Oh, yes, we spoke about that before.
Well, if it's going begging, I think that Judy Bryant might be interested, and she's pretty quick on the uptake.
That's a thought, but I don't want you discussing it with the other women until it has been decided.
No, I won't, but will you think about it?
Yes, I'll think about it.
Time. For everything.
Shouldn't you be down reception?
In a minute.
It'll all be sorted out by now. You just wait and see. Bea can fix it.
I'm not so sure, Lizzie.
What do you mean? Bea's top dog. She and the Gov, why, they're just like that.
She's still not an officer. Powell's got all the cards. She's going to make the charge stick.
No, you just wait and see. Bea'll be here soon and she'll tell you that she's fixed it.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid I haven't. I'm sorry. Alison, David wouldn't buy it.
Not even from you?
Not even from me.
I didn't think she would. Still, thanks for trying. I'm just going to have to face the facts.
Oh, well, maybe you won't have to.
What do you got in mind?
Well, like Davo says, her door is always open for legitimate complaints. Well, we've tried the official way and it didn't work. So we put Plan B into action.
What do you mean?
Gather round, girls. Listen, Powell's going to get it, right?
Off to the salt pits.
You may say it that way, I don't.
Alison Page may not agree with you.
She's a criminal, Jim.
Oh, come on. Don't give me that she's a criminal line.
Just whose side are you on?
It's not a matter of taking sides. There is such a thing as compassion, you know.
Yes, and I'm well aware of the Page family circumstances. But there are a lot of women badly off, even worse off than she is.
Look, all I'm saying is that Page had a clean slate, more or less. You know that. She overreacted to what you said. You overreacted.
I took a lawful course of action.
Look, what I'm saying is that you could have given Page a break, for your sake as well as hers.
Are you going to offer me a bribe, like Mrs. Davidson?
No, it's just a friendly piece of advice.
If I need it, I'll ask for it.
All right.
It's easy for you to preach, isn't it, Jim? You're leaving soon, so you don't have to cope with these
animals.
Excuse me. I've got a job to do. Right. Smoker's over. Back to work.
Got a light, Lizzie?
Coming up, boss.
Didn't you hear what I said?
You know, there's this real good movie on the telly tonight, Jude.
Yeah. It's that one with Sophia Loren and Michael Caine.
Oh, Michael Caine. Woo, woo.
I believe he's pretty keen on you too, Doreen.
Okay. What's going on?
Nothing, Mrs. Powell.
Exactly. Now get back to work.
Or what?
Or you'll all be charged with disobeying an order.
Well, now, will you listen to this lady? She knows every rule in the book.
Oh, she's got to know all that junk.
Of course, it's only a temporary promotion, isn't it, Mrs.
Get
Powell?
back back to work.
In case you haven't noticed, Mrs. Powell, we're on strike until we get satisfaction.
Huh? And what might that be?
Drop the charges against Allison.
No.
Oh, well. That gives us no alternative then, does it, girls?
No. I am reporting you all.
Oh, you know what'll happen then, don't you?
Yes, loss of privileges. Perhaps a few days in solitary for the ringleader.
Oh, not so fast, Mrs. Powell. Mrs. Davidson is bound to want to know why.
And when she tells us to go back to work, we will.
Yeah, like little lambs. And if any other screw asses do anything, we'll be like little lambs for them, too.
And pretty soon, they're going to start wondering why you are the only screw who can't get us working. They might even think that you're not cut out to be a screw.
Yeah. You know, you might get demoted. They might send you off to Barnhurst.
Yeah, but don't worry, Mrs. Powell, you won't get lonely because Vinegar Tits will be there to boss you round.
Don't you threaten me.
Oh, don't take it so hard. We just want to put you in the picture. You play ball with us and drop those charges against Allison. And we'll play ball with you.
Well, did we tell her or did we tell her?
Oh, you're a bleeding marvel, B.
Just common sense.
Well, what if she jacked up?
Oh, no. She's promotion happy as I think she is. She'll be having a good hard think about Allison right now.
Hey, move any mountains lately?
Only my body out of one little drag into this.
Wish you were coming with us, Jude.
Hey, maybe you can take my place for a bit.
What are you talking about? I thought you liked getting out of here.
Yeah, well, I've got other fish to fry.
What?
Remember the Braille machine? It and an instructor are arriving next week.
Who told you that?
Davo.
And when did she tell you?
Been talking about it for the past week or so.
Oh, so that's why you become so pally with you. Well, good on you, B.
Yeah, well, how come you haven't told us before this?
I didn't want to get your hopes up just in case it didn't come off.
What have our hopes got to do with it? You're the only one affected.
No, I'm his first cab off the rank. That's all. That works out. Everyone will get a chance.
Oh, well, I'm real glad for you.
Yeah.
First cab off the ranks, right?
Look, it isn't all one-way traffic. For instance, I've asked Davo if Judy can take over Allison's job when she leaves.
And what if I don't want Allison's job?
Well, you mightn't, but I thought you would. And Davo looks like a green.
See? She's not just thinking of number one.
Yeah, I know. Thanks.
Yeah, but don't say anything until Davo mentions it to you officially.
All right, come on, let's get a move on.
I can't wait to get a breath of that fresh air. Come on, Dawn.
It's about time you're at the laundry, Bryant.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
Will do.
Just get a lungful of that, will you?
Come on, Trap, you're holding everything up.
That old bag. She'll be hanging around somewhere.
Well, you better work inside today. I don't want a repeat performance of yesterday.
Oh, sure thing. I can give Lizzie a hand with the tea and stuff.
Oh, can't I work outside for a change?
God, you're like a pack of kids. All right, but make sure she doesn't do anything strenuous, will you, Smith?
Oh, I'm as strong as a horse.
Don't worry, I'll make sure.
You two better work outside as well. Burns, you can give Trap a hand with the lunches.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
I can't wait to get a geek at that old girl.
I heard that, Burnsworth. If that woman comes into the garden again today...
Oh, she will.
We'll just keep well away from her.
Don't worry, I'll keep him in line.
What are you doing in here? You're meant to be in reception.
Mrs. Davidson knows.
What does Mrs. Davidson know?
I asked permission. I didn't feel very well.
You look all right to me.
Well, I'm not.
All right, then. Report back to duty when you feel up to it. Sorry you did that for a long time to come. Striking a prison officer. Well, you can expect to be in here an extra 2 or 3 months. In the meantime, why don't you think about it? In solitary.
Chris and Susan. Oh, what a worrying me.
I've got something to tell you to set your mind at rest. I've been able to place them.
What do you mean?
In a welfare home.
Lizzie. Good afternoon. My name's Jim Fletcher. I believe we're neighbours.
How do you do, Mr. Fletcher? I'm Thelma Reed. I was talking to some of the girls yesterday. I think you're doing a marvellous job.
Yes, well, they would be doing a good job if they're allowed to concentrate on it.
Well, I'm sure I agree, and I'm quite sure your organisation would approve of what you're doing.
Organisation?
Yes, I've been trying to work out which one you belong to. I'm a member of quite a few of the local charities myself, and I've been racking my brains trying to work out just where you come from.
Yes, well...
It's something to do with the kiddies, isn't it?
Yes, Housing Commission kiddies. We've been trying to think of a name for this place, haven't we, Jim? But haven't been able to come up with one yet.
Oh, that's lovely, dear, but what exactly is the name of your charity organisation?
Self-help. It's called Self-help.
I've never heard of it.
No, it's a very new organisation. Mrs. Reed, if you'll excuse us, please, we've got some more work to do.
I reckon you owe me one, Jim.
What'd she say, Bee?
I think it's time we had some lunch. The more distance I can put between you lot and Mrs. Reed, the better. Mouse, where's the food?
It's gone. What do you mean it's gone? The sandwiches. I made enough for everyone.
You lazy piece of work. I bet you've had your feet up.
Haven't. And you can see the crumbs.
Yeah, I can see the crumbs, so I know where the sandwiches are, don't I?
Oh, she couldn't have. I was in here just 5 minutes ago. You couldn't have eaten them all in that time.
Well, I suppose it was the ghost again?
Yeah, listen, can you just all keep your voices down a bit? Mrs. Reed is just dying for an excuse to complain.
It was the ghost. I can feel it in me bones.
Don't be ridiculous, Lizzie.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't Mouse and it wasn't us, who took the sandwiches?
That's 5 rounds of corned beef and pickle, 2 of cheese and ham, and 4 of egg and lettuce.
Right.
Cost a lot.
Yeah.
Not much change out of 5 smackers.
No.
I can remember when a round of Sangos cost a penny and a pie and sauce tuppence halfpenny.
I'm sure you do.
Of course, you shouldn't have to pay it out of your own pocket.
Well, it won't break me.
Of course you shouldn't, but circumstances beyond your control.
What?
Well, I reckon a ghost pinched Mouse's Sangos. I never thought about it before, but I suppose ghosts get hungry, same as vampires.
Lizzie, would you shut up?
I know. I'll bet it was that Mrs. Reed. Yeah, she's the nigger in the wood pile.
Lizzie, you don't seriously think that she took the sandwiches, do you?
Yeah. She came in to case the joint and couldn't resist.
Lizzie, you're talking a whole lot of rubbish. Now get those sandwiches inside before they all go on strike.
You okay, love?
Feeling a bit off colour.
Oh, well, I can understand that.
Can you? My kids are in a home just because I've been stupid. Mrs. Powell must be a monster.
Well, honey, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I think Colleen Powell's going to be changing her tune.
She won't. She's got a heart of stone.
That might be, but she's still going to change her tune. Bee's put the heavy on her.
When?
This morning.
I saw her after lunch. She was looking for another charge to put me on.
Well, that might be, but I don't think it's going to happen. She's not going to like Bee blackmailing her.
I like Bee. I trust her now. But she can't win.
Honey,
not against Powell.
Bee can win against anybody. They don't call her top dog for nothing, huh?
Come in. Yes, Mrs. Powell, what is it?
It's about the charge against Paige.
Mrs. Powell, we have already been over this a number of times already. If you have definitely made up your mind, then I'm not going to try to dissuade you from it.
Does that mean you're willing to support me now?
It means I'm not going to interfere with you one way or the other. Now, what was it you wanted to see me about?
Smith and the other women are blackmailing me.
What do you mean?
They have indicated that they will not obey any order that I give them. They intend making as much trouble for me as they can.
Well, why would they do that?
If they obey every order that anybody else gives them, it looks like I'm the only officer who has trouble controlling them. Can only look bad on my record.
And what can they possibly hope to achieve by that behavior?
They want me to drop the charge against Paige. If I do, they'll obey orders from me. If I don't, they won't.
That's appalling. But they do have a point. It could look bad on your record.
Hey, who wants to be the old maid?
Oh, wouldn't you like it, Mouse?
I've lost my appetite.
Yeah, and I bet you have too, with 10 rounds of sandwiches in your belly.
Oh, she couldn't have done it. I told you before.
Look, let's not start that again, please.
Well, we've got to get to the bottom of it.
For once and for all, the subject is finished. Closed, understood? All right, then, let's get back to work.
I've only just sat down.
Burns Trap wants you to clean the walls in the room next door. Get them ready for painting. The rest of you out into the garden. Another couple of hours, we should get it cleaned up a bit.
Yeah.
So if you put your mind into it and your backs into it.
Oh, I suppose I'm going to end up as the bloody chief cook and bottle washer.
Yeah, that's about the size of it. That's, of course, if you don't mind.
Well, I used to be a good doer in me day.
Yeah, I bet you were. So come on, let's get into it, eh?
I've been a wild rover for many a year, and I spend all me money on whiskey and beer.
Come in.
Paige to see you?
Oh, show her in, please.
Please tell me, Chris and Susan.
That will be all, thank you, Officer Barry. Sit down, please, Paige.
Oh, what's happened to them?
As far as I know, your children are perfectly all right. Mrs. Morris says they're settling in quite well.
Then it's Don.
There is nothing wrong with your family. Mrs. Powell has something to tell you.
What is it?
I think it would be better if Mrs. Powell explained. Mrs. Powell?
It concerns a striking charge.
I'm sorry. I've already explained.
Let Mrs. Powell finish.
It would appear you're in a highly emotional state when you struck me. So I'm prepared to give you the benefit of the doubt.
What?
Mrs. Powell?
In view of the extenuating circumstances, I'm willing to drop the charge.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Does that mean...
Yes, you will be released in line with your original sentence. That is, of course, if you don't cause any more trouble.
I won't. I won't.
In that case, you can return to your cell and prepare for your departure.
I can't thank you enough. You don't know what it means to me. I'm so sorry for what I did to you.
I'm sure you made the right decision.
It wasn't really a decision, was it?
Whatever the rights or wrongs of the situation, you made the right decision.
If you say so, Mrs. Davidson.
Oh, I do.
Hi. Hey, did you win the lottery or something?
Even better. Mrs. Powell is dropping the charge. I can't believe it.
Well, I can be. It was really
I'm going to be released today. Chris and Susan won't have to stay in that home. I'll be able to look after Don. I may even be able to do something about the business.
Hey, slow down a minute, will you?
What?
I'm really happy for you, honey. That's the best news in the world.
I am a bit excited, I know.
Well, Bill'll be glad to hear it.
Is she back yet?
No, but she's responsible for this, you know. She's the one that talked Powell into changing the charge.
That's the amazing thing. I just didn't believe she could do it. You know, it's funny. When I first came here, I was really frightened of all of you.
Yeah, well, we gave you a bit of a hard time.
And I gave you every reason to dislike me. But Bea promised me I'd make friends. And I have. I didn't believe you'd all band together like this to help me out of a tight spot. I want you to know I'm very grateful.
Well, it's part of the service, you know.
Oh, I'm going to miss you. All of you.
Oh, I went to a shanty I used to frequent, and I said to the landlady, me money is spent. She said, I've got whiskey and wines of the best. And I said, well, you better get the Marinol.
Who the hell are you?
Oh, get out of my way.
Oh, Ben, George, the guy's quick! Ben!
Let go, let me go.
Get up! Get up!
Well, who the hell's this?
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around. Last night I dreamed we were together, sharing all the love we'd known, till I had to face the nightmare of waking up alone. On the inside the roses grow, they don't mind the stony ground, but the roses here are prisoners too when morning comes around.